Okay, so this comment, a couple of comments like these came into the video I did about Kimberly Coates, and she was the lady that, you know, used the breathalyzer, was forced to use the breathalyzer at a school and was found to be above the legal limit, but she didn't appear to be drunk. And so I'm going to preface this by saying anybody that's leaving comments like these must not have watched the video in the entirety I put, because one of the first things I said was I wasn't defending her drinking on the job. If she was drinking on the job, there needs to be an appropriate consequence for that. But here's the part that comments like this show me that people are missing. Appropriate response and action. People that support the behavior of how that was handled are what perpetuate how the police are in this country. Okay? So if you think that a teacher who was calm, was not a flight risk, did not try to run, was breaking down, obviously had some issues, needs to be handcuffed after being interrogated without due process, because they skipped her due process. Yes, there were some things they were legally allowed to do, which I covered as well, so I'll recap that quickly here. They did have the right to search her belongings, most likely. I'll say that because I don't know if she signed an agreement. I'm going to assume she did. As I've said, I worked in education. So, but to have a superintendent, as somebody commented, it was a principal and a police officer interrogating her to the point that she broke down and basically just agreed to anything they said. That's not correct. That's not how that works. Even if you get pulled over by a police officer for speeding, they can try to ask you questions, but unless they have proof, they can't just force you to give them an answer. But to cut all that short and get to my point for the response to this, for the people that keep making comments like this, the amount of people defending this drunk. Okay, being drunk is not the worst crime there is, one. But in the same hand, this is the same mentality that says people of color need to be done away with immediately in the street because they shoplifted, because they failed to use a blinker, because they accidentally did something. See, that's the problem. This goes beyond just saying something simple like, hey, you should have a little compassion, because that's not the issue here. The response was too much and overbearing. The response is too much. I don't think the police need to be in the capacity they are anymore. And I know a lot of people would be like, oh, but what happens if the same thing that's happening now, just in a better portion? And I'll do a full video on that at some point later on. I generally don't post videos on the weekend, so I'll get that together later on. But this is overbearing. And the only reason this didn't go worse, I believe, is because she is white. But the same camp that loves teachers, you guys' love and compassion goes away as soon as they do any minor infraction. And so, yeah, this has got to stop. But no, I was not defending her if she was drinking on the job. Remember, it's innocent until proven guilty, and she still wasn't proven guilty. Breathalyzers have issues. They're not perfect. If you don't know that, you need to look into that technology better. Same as radar guns. Radar guns are not perfect either. Those have problems as well. Any form of device like that can have issues. Does it mean it did? No, I'm just saying she still deserves the legal benefit of the doubt. And she should be able to go through legal process. But because they badgered her, she's incriminated herself, and now she's just guilty until proven guilty, which is wrong.